Well, John, I think that's what it's supposed to look like when a really good team plays a bad team. We've seen the Wolves absolutely take two opponents apart. Beautiful offense, quality defense, getting Gobert involved. Let's get into all the details and what it might mean going forward here on the Jon Krawczynski Show. He's Jon Krawczynski from The Athletic and TalkNorth.com. I'm Jim Suhan from the Star Tribune and TalkNorth.com. We are coming to you from the Aquarius Home Services studio.
It's Scott for Aquarius Home Services. Yep, Jack Frost is back, and he's not just nipping at your nose. He's eyeing your furnace and those leaky faucets, too. Don't let him crash your holidays. Call Aquarius and get $98 off any plumbing or furnace repair. Enjoy your holidays and let Aquarius take care of your home service needs. Schedule today at AquariusHomeservices.com. Aquarius, earning the right to be recommended.
Hey, this is Randy Shaver. Along with Kevin Gorg, we host the show Fantasy Huddle on Talk North. Each week, we're going to break down the matchups for the NFL season and try to give you the best chance to win your fantasy football games each and every week. Join us for Fantasy Huddle on Talk North.
And yes, this is the Jon Krawczynski Show. This is our Timberwolves and NBA show at TalkNorth.com. If you like this show, please subscribe to your favorite podcast app, or as you can tell, if you're watching, you can see it also on YouTube. We also do the Viking Update show on YouTube as well. We are presented to you by Lexus of Wayzata and Maplewood. We'll tell you more about them and our other sponsors later in the show. John, just give me your reaction to these two blowout victories.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's easy to say right away, oh, yeah, they have some beat a good team. I think the Portland win in the season opener was the only one that would really qualify as a quality win to this point. And it's true. The Sacramento Kings and the Utah Jazz are not good teams. And so you do have to take these victories with a little bit of a grain of salt, or at least just with a few caveats that are involved here. But I do think that there is a difference in the level of play that we are seeing from them in these games, even versus playing some of the cupcakes earlier in the season. I was in Brooklyn for the win over the Nets, and the Wolves were up 3 points going into the fourth quarter. It was not a well-played, crisp game. There wasn't a whole lot of defense being played, and they were just kind of fooling around. And same, like they needed. They went down to the wire with the Indiana Pacers, who have won one game this season. They were not playing good basketball, and really these last two games have been very good basketball. Even the first half of the Knicks game was really good basketball, and then the second half really went poorly. So you're seeing more defensive intensity. You are seeing more ball movement. You are seeing like really actually pretty high level offense in the way that they're driving and kicking. They're creating good shots. They are being efficient both at the rim, in the mid range, and from three. And so it does feel like this little stretch here has been a team kind of coming out of the slumber that they were in to start this season. Now, we will have to wait and see how they do against Denver next weekend, against some stiffer competition. But they needed to start to put it into gear here, and they needed to smash some of these bad teams, and that's what they're doing right now.
Yeah, when you play a bad team, it shouldn't be a get by 3 points game. It should be a laboratory for playing well, and they are playing well. And we've always known that Finch is an offensive coach, and he has this beautiful free-flowing offense in theory, and yet what has he talked about almost his entire tenure? Ball getting sticky. Last year, we saw the ball stopping with Julius Randle way too often. Now you're seeing the ball, just beautiful ball movement. Jaden McDaniels activated, Gobert activated, especially on Sunday night, and it looks like the offense I always imagined Chris Finch coaching.
Yeah, and there's a couple of keys there, and I think you hit on one of them, Jim, is that Rudy Gobert is more involved. Like he is now no longer a player that just can be completely ignored by the defense. They are finding him for lobs. They are getting the ball in his hands, even for just dribble handoffs and screen settings and things like that. That's big. Having Anthony Edwards back turns out it's pretty big. Yeah. Like that really makes a big difference. And then I really do think that we are seeing sort of the dawning of the Jaden McDaniels era in terms of just being a two-way player. I mean, the efficiency with which he is playing on offense and the ability for him to create his own shot has taken a huge leap forward this season. And that is so important for the Wolves finding some sort of balance between first and second units, between, what they can do to remain hard to guard, in that starting five. And it really does seem to be clicking in here that way for Jaden McDaniels from an offensive level. And man, it's just like, it just jumps off the screen when you watch him.
No doubt about it. It's really interesting after having an 8-man rotation plus whoever could figure out the way to earn themselves some minutes as the 9th or 10th person. It's really interesting to see this team be basically a 6 rotation team with a bunch of other players competing for whatever minutes are left over.
Yeah, and I do think that Finch has done a pretty good job of continuing to try and get Dillingham a few minutes here or there. When Terrence Shannon comes back, he'll be in there. Now you're seeing Jalen Clark get some of those minutes as well. And they're not 18, 20 minutes a night, but it is enough, I think, to get those guys just a little bit of run and feel a part of things and do things. But yeah, you're looking at that starting five now is really come together with DiVincenzo in that pseudo point guard spot. And then you have Naz Reid and you have Jalen Clark and you have Mike Conley, and then you're sprinkling in Dillingham, you're sprinkling in Shannon when he comes back. You're giving Clark some more minutes. They're getting to 9, a little bit more, but just enough to get everyone involved and maybe to keep some of the other minutes down that you want to keep down. So what we've seen, I think, recently in these last couple of games that Chris Finch is finally getting to, he and Mike Inori have been tinkering with these lineups and rotations. Now they are finding a combination with when Rudy comes off of the floor, and that's usually when the defense falls apart. Finch is making sure that Jaden McDaniels and Jalen Clark are on the floor in those situations. And so, again, they're playing bad teams, but we are seeing the defensive intensity remain high. And I do think that's been a nice little wrinkle that they are finding. And I do want to see against good teams, but, that's just, that's part of this early season process for coaches is, how do we get to certain lineups and what do we need to do? And it seems like they are settling in nicely now to, okay, when Rudy comes off, let's make sure that McDaniels and Clark are on the floor for defense. And then that other offense that we're getting from McDaniels really helps sustain as well. So they're going to get a nice little groove that way right now.
And, I think we both went in thinking, okay, Dillingham's going to get at least a chance to earn a rotation spot. It felt like Shannon was going to be a plug and play player. Even if he had some flaws, he was going to come in and give you offense. Really, to me, and this might be a little bit of bias because I love watching him play, feels like to me, Clark is the one with the clearest path to regular minutes because he is going to play defense. They kind of need somebody to replace Nickeil Alexander-Walker in that regard. And guess what? He's also hitting shots.
Yeah, I mean, he had a couple corner threes against the Kings on Sunday night, and when that happens, it just opens everything else up for his game. And he doesn't just shoot threes. He makes nice cuts to the basket to, kind of create opportunities at the rim. He's a decent passer. But I mean, overall, you're right. I mean, when you look at the three of them, Clark, Dillingham, and Shannon, Clark is the one that has an elite part of his skill set that's ready right now, and that's defense. That's on-ball defense. And so I do think that will help him, I think, jump to the front of the line in that pecking order. Shannon has been a little disappointing to start. Maybe some of it was the foot issues that he was dealing with, but he's got to show a little bit more defensively, and I think he's got to be a little bit more aggressive when he does come back. But I still feel confident that he can get to a place where his physicality, his ability to score in transition, excuse me.
I know we both get a little choked up when we talk about Jaylen Clark.
Yeah. And Shannon's ability to score in transition. And then I think that it'll all figure itself out and he will find a spot. Dillingham is still the one that you're trying to find exactly how he fits in. And there are flashes that he has. He runs a good pick and roll with Rudy Gobert. But like, just for instance, against the Kings, they win by 27 points. He's a -1 in the game. Like, it's, you look at things like that and it's still just very up and down. And so I could see a scenario happening where as Shannon comes back healthy and Clark is excelling, that the minutes are going to be a little bit harder for Dillingham to come by. But, that's just part of the whole thing that they're going to have to juggle and figure out as the season goes along.
Does Jaylen Clark have ball handling point guard type skills?
I don't think so, Jim. At least not right now. He, they tried to in Vegas. They tried to give him more of a role, more of an offensive kind of facilitator, ball in his hands type of role, and it didn't work out well for him. He really struggled in that area against, much lesser competition. Jaylen Clark at Media Day said, if I can play good defense and shoot 40% from three, I'm going to get minutes. Yep. That's clearly what his role is right now on this team. And I think that he is more than just a 3-and-D guy because he can cut to the basket and play off of playmakers, but he's not a guy really right now that can put it on the floor, that can, create for himself or others, that can handle a lot of that responsibility. I think he's much more of a supporting player, sit in the corner, catch and shoot. Right now, they have a really good player in that regard, and I think they want to keep him in that role right now.
It's been fun to see our friend Alan Horton do some TV work. I've always been amazed at his ability to do NBA broadcasts alone. I mean, I always thought, when I started doing some radio around town, and I would either host my own show or guest host a show, to me, the hardest thing to do in media is talk to yourself, is talking to a wall, talking to a microphone without somebody responding, where you have to just carry the conversation. Alan Horton has been excelling at that for a long time, and he's still doing it. But it's cool to see him get paid off with some TV work where he gets his face out there, where he gets to interact with Jim Pete, who he has a great rapport with.
Absolutely. Like, he's one of the very best radio guys, in the league. He fills the space so smartly because it can be easy to overwhelm the audience with statistics, with analytics, with all of those things. And Alan is as smart as they come when it comes to kind of absorbing and understanding all of the analytics and the deep backroom basketball statistics that are out there. But you don't want to kind of just flood the audience with it and make them, just completely overwhelmed by all the numbers you're throwing at him. He does such a good job of just sprinkling them into the conversation to buttress the points that he's making, to support what he is seeing. And now that he has Jim Pete to work off of, in the television, broadcast that he does, they've known each other for so long. They have such a good rapport. They've done radio together before. And so it's a really, really nice presentation. And maybe there is a little adjustment for Alan to be doing right now in terms of when he does TV, it's very visual. And so you don't necessarily have to say every single thing that's happening. But I think he's done a really good job of handling that part of it and of transitioning to calling these games on TV when the viewer can see what's happening right in front of them, and then just accentuating the action and educating us along the way. In a way that's just top level. I was never worried about it when they named him, but just to see it happen and see it working out so well, it's been great.
Yeah. Congratulations to Allen. I hope we get to see him do a lot more. Also, congratulations to Michael Grady for getting to do more national stuff. I think we all knew that was coming, and I'm happy for him. Right now, I want to thank the people who make this network and this show possible, starting with Lexus, Wayzata, and Maplewood.
If you're in the market for a new luxury vehicle, look no further than our good friend Charlie Swanson at Lexus. Whether you're on the west or the east side of the Twin Cities, they've got you covered with two great locations, Lexus of Wayzata and Lexus of Maplewood. Check out the all-new Lexus TX, a spacious SUV with 3 rows of seating and plenty of room for all your gear. Head over to lexusofwayzata.com or lexusofmaplewood.com for details and to find your next ride today.
Thanks also to TSR Injury Law, our original sponsor, friends of ours. Steve Terry's a great guy. It's cool to see him working with Mike and Nori. Is another great guy. It was great to see him working with Naz Reid last year. But all you really need to know, we don't want you to need this number, but if you do need a number because you're injured, call 612-TSR-TIME, 612-TSR-TIME. They'll take good care of you. Thanks also to Royal Credit Union.
It's time for change. Experience better banking and put your financial goals in motion with Royal Credit Union. It's time to get more from your checking account, upgrade your vehicle, or finally build your dream home. Royal offers the financial solutions you need and the advice you can trust to plan for what's next. Better banking is one change away. It's time to switch to Royal Credit Union. Get started at rcu.org/time. Insured by NCUA. Loan subject to credit approval. Equal housing opportunity.
So, John, I want to know how you maintain a safe pulse, avoid heart palpitations when it comes to getting to watch the NBA Cup. I mean, breathe through your nose, maybe do a little yoga. I mean, it's pretty exciting stuff.
Well, the most traumatic thing is the court. I'll just say that.
That is true.
I mean,
that's life-threatening.
That is sensory overload. That is just a lot going on, especially the Wolves green and then the red ones. There's a couple red ones out there that are just like, it's like I'm watching that Seinfeld episode with Kramer where the chicken place is right next door and has the bright neon red that's kind of shining into Kramer's apartment and sends him crazy. But I will say, like, I do like the Cup games because the players do play harder in them. And I do think that it's needed in, October, November, December, when NFL is going on, when the players are kind of just getting into the season. You have to give fans a reason to watch, and especially when we get to Vegas, but even as we get a little deeper into the round robin part of the Cup games, in the regular season, these guys, they want the money and they want to go after it. And so anything to add a little spice to the regular season at this time of year, I'm for. And I actually think it's been pretty successful with it. Now, once it's over, everyone forgets about it and goes and moves on, but that's okay. Like whatever it takes to breathe some excitement into these first 2 months of the year, I'm for, and the players are responding to it. And so I think it's been a success so far.
I agree. And I was against it last year until I actually saw the games played, and I realized these guys were really juiced, and it was entertaining basketball, and they were playing like the games really mattered. And I'm like, okay, that works for me. We ain't load managing. People are actually getting out there and getting after it. I thought it was really cool. So I'm in favor of it. It also reminds me, used to have a really good relationship with the bench coach Rick Stelmazik with the Twins. He was basically Tom Kelly's right-hand man, and he was as old school as they got. I mean, he was a guy who played with Babe Ruth. Okay, he was old school, and anytime he saw a player come in with gold lame spikes or flashy spikes, anything non-traditional other than black and white spikes on, he'll go, "That's straight porno, babe." So straight porno. Anytime I see something flashy, the word straight porno pop into my head. But yeah, I actually think it's good stuff. And also, I mean, if they didn't have a chance to make a little extra money in the NBA Cup, some of these players just would not survive.
How would they do it?
I don't know how.
Yep. It is funny. We were talking to Anthony Edwards after the first Cup game, the Utah game, and you talk to a few other players in the locker room, and I do think a player like Jaylen Clark, who could get, extra money, like that means a lot. Like they actually really do. They could really put it to good use, and it would be really helpful. Ant started talking. He's just like, yeah, that doesn't matter. Like he's got hundreds of millions coming in. He's got hundreds of millions more coming to him. So he actually doesn't really care about the money, but he wants to win these games. Julius Randle wants the money. Like most of these guys want the money.
Jaden wants the money. I think Jaden
wants the money. Yes. They're both. Yeah, everyone's doing okay, but you can always have a little bit more, and it's not my money. So that's fine with me. Whatever motivation it takes to get these guys to really lock in and get after it, I'm all for it right now. And so anything that happens to get them going, go for it. And but yeah, like almost everyone in that locker room doesn't need the money, but they're never going to turn down a chance at another, $250,000 or whatever it is. So go get it, boys, whatever it takes.
I also don't want to make this about picking on NBA players, because I don't understand why Peyton Manning has to do every single commercial. Okay.
Right.
Talk about somebody who's made hundreds of millions of dollars who can, number one, I don't understand why he needs more money or why he needs more exposure or why he wants to do all these commercials. Number two, he does so many ads that if you're an advertiser, he's like the last person I would hire, because all anybody's going to see is Peyton Manning being glib. They're not going to remember what he was. I don't know what the products are he's advertising for. I have no idea. All I know is that he does a lot of ads and they all run together. And I would never, and I like Peyton, and I knew a lot of people who knew Peyton and coached Peyton in Indiana. I would never buy. If I knew what products he endorsed, I would not buy them because I'm sick of them.
Yeah. Well, here, and the other part of it is that, and look, we have ads here on the show, and everyone has to make money and everyone has to do things. But I think one of the aims of an advertiser and a celebrity or whoever endorser is that you want to convey to the audience that, hey, this athlete is interested in my product, uses it. There is some level of authenticity with it. And if you're advertising literally everything in the world, like, it's like, okay, are you in on this at all? Like we talk here all the time about we support the local companies that support us, and I wear lamb chops, and I've used Manscaped in the past. Like I do all these things that we endorse here, and you just wonder with Peyton and just the sheer volume, both he and Eli, like, are they really all the way into this? But I'm not sure, like, if that makes a difference these days. But yeah, it's you can be a little too out there sometimes, and I wonder if Peyton might be there right now.
I think he is. I think absolutely he is. And I liked him as a player. I loved watching him play. I knew people. Yeah. We had mutual friends. Okay, I had a quick Peyton Manning story.
Sure.
The Super Bowl is in Minneapolis. My wife is all fired up about it. She's walking around the Skyway one day with a friend of hers, and here come Peyton and Eli just walking toward her down the Skyway. No flunkies around them, just the two of them walking around, right? And she looks up at him. She goes, "Hi, Eli." And Peyton goes, and he like shoves Eli and keeps walking. And Eli's like, yes, yes, yes. So that act is not just an act. That is their personas.
I will say this. I love both of them as personalities, like, I love the ESPN stuff that they do. They are really relatable in different ways. Like Peyton does, I think, play the egghead, like, but also a little egocentric kind of thing. And Eli is the younger baby brother kind of, comic relief guy. They're great. Like it's super fun. And that's really cool that it happens in real life as well.
And it's also, the reason I think it's all genuine is because Archie Manning was one of the great guys of all time in sports. has always been, was when he was a player, was he's a post player. He's the guy you can call up and talk to. I remember talking to him after Peyton won the Super Bowl. I would just stand there talking to him, and he's just a blast. So there's some genuine stuff. Back to the NBA. Next couple topics. Naz and Jaden. Where are their games where are their offensive games right now? Guess what? We will take care of the sponsors who take care of us right now before we get to that. And we will get to a Twitter question here at the end of the show as well. Right now, let us thank True Vision Institute.
True Vision in Bloomington is the place to go if you're looking for vision correction. Been telling you about it for a year and a half now. I got LASIK at True Vision a year and a half ago now in the summertime after the season was over. Recovered beautifully within several hours and have been seeing clearly ever since. Makes life so much simpler. You go to chuvision.com, CHU vision.com, and set up your free consultation. Go in, just meet with the folks, and you will just see how welcoming the environment is, how easy this all is, and how knowledgeable they are into getting you to the right procedure, to the right treatment for your vision correction needs. So go to chuvision.com and go visit the great folks at True Vision in Bloomington.
Thanks also to Shepherd Goods and Lamb Chops clothing line, which also sponsors the end of the show Twitter question.
sglambchops.com is the place to go for the most stylish, comfortable, and high quality casual wear that you can find. T-shirts, hoodies, hats, pants, sweaters. They got it all at Lamb Chops. So go to sglambchops.com. Use the promo code JONK20. You get 20% off anything that you get at Lamb Chops. Jordan and Craig are sitting courtside at these Lynx and Timberwolves games. They've come to our live shows and have kind of pop-up shops all over town. They are a part of this community. They are part of the Timberwolves and Lynx organization, franchise, and the fabric literally of Timberwolves fans. And so if you go to sglambchops.com, use the promo code JONK20, you get 20% off anything that you can wear there. You can wear it out in the North Loop on a Friday night. You can wear it lounging around watching the Wolves on a Sunday play the Kings in a late night game. It's so versatile. It is so high quality. Can't recommend it enough. sglambchops.com.
So what we're seeing from Jaden now, is it a spurt? Is it sustainable? And if it is sustainable, what does it do for this team's prospects going forward?
Yeah, I mean, right now, it now certainly there's going to be a little bit of a drop off probably in the 3-point shooting or just the overall efficiency. He was 8 for 10 against the Kings. Like you're just not doing that every night. But what is sustainable, or what looks sustainable right now, is that the way that he is getting to his offense is natural to him now. It looks comfortable. He looks ultra confident shooting the ball. I put it on Blue Sky during the game when he hit another above the break 3. It's to the point now when he rises up to shoot, I think it's going in. And when's the last time we could say that about a Jaden McDaniels 3-point shot, especially above the break? But he's put so much work into it, and he has become a player that you cannot hide opposing poor defenders on. He will punish them, and every which way, from the 3-point line, taking them down to the basket, rising up over them in the lane for kind of that little pull-up shot that has really become a staple of his and is really, really difficult to guard. And there's just one play last night that didn't result in a bucket, but he basically crossed his guy over, gets into the lane, and then slingshots a one-armed pass out to the wing for a 3-point shot. I think it was Jalen Clark. I can't remember. He missed the 3, but like that sort of level of understanding and feel for the game was not there earlier. And so this all feels very real to me. It does not feel like he is on a little bit of a heater here and then is going to tail off. The percentages might drop a little bit, but his pressure that he can apply to a defense, I think, is going to be there now. And Chris Finch has talked about it. The key now with Anthony Edwards back in the lineup is making sure that Jaden doesn't get lost and doesn't get forgotten. And so far, so good on that front. He's still remained aggressive and getting double-digit shot attempts and scoring and doing those things. And so the biggest development about this is now it allows Chris Finch to put Jaden McDaniels with the second unit. And when Ant goes to the bench, when Rudy goes to the bench, and then you have his defense out there, but you also have another player who can drive offense for you. And so I think right now, a lot of the times he's sharing that second unit with like Mike Conley, Naz Reid, Jalen Clark, and, they mix and match one other guy in there. And sometimes it's Julius Randle, sometimes it's others, but that unit can be both good defensively and also dynamic offensively. And so it just really opens up a lot for what this team can do and how they can sustain offense throughout the game if Jaden is on the floor and attacking and being aggressive. And I think that's going to continue. I mean, he's been terrific.
What are you seeing from Naz Reid's game right now?
So Naz is like, he had a pretty decent game against the Kings, but it's largely been difficult for him. Shots not falling. He defensively, especially the pairing with Julius Randle against good teams, I mean, they just get waxed. In the front court, they don't rebound at all. I do think that there's two things that are coming into play. First and foremost, which we have to acknowledge, is that his sister was shot and killed a month before the season started. And it is completely understandable if his head is not fully in this and he is not totally locked in and he is just a little bit off that way. I mean, it's just an unbelievable tragedy that he has endured, and it's going to take a very long time, if ever, for him to find some sense of normalcy without his big sister losing her in just the shocking fashion that he did. So he's a human being, first and foremost. Secondly, the basketball part that I do wonder about is when the Wolves decided to pair Karl Anthony Towns with Rudy Gobert. And then even after Randall came along, Naz has sort of gradually been evolving from a center to more of like a small forward in body composition, in the skills that he's developed, in all of those things. And I think that it has compromised his ability to be a bully ball physical player in the front court when they need him now at like the 4 or the 5 next to Julius. And I think he is being sometimes overpowered in those chases for rebounds, and knocked off of his spot a little bit more on defense than he had been prior. Remember, like 2 years ago, in the first year of it's the second year of the Cat Rudy, but Naz was actually really effective against Jokic in the playoffs against the Nuggets. Like, as a physical, I'm going to stand up to him and I'm not going to just be bulldozed by this dude. And I don't know that he's capable of that physically right now. Just, it seems like he's leaner. It seems like he's changed his body to be more of a 3-4 than a 4-5 or a 5. And so there might be just a little bit that they are dealing with in trying to continue to put him in those spots. And he understandably was altering everything about himself to try and just get on the floor and do it. So I think they're working through some things that way as well. That is giving him a difficult time in terms of finishing defensive possessions with rebounds, standing up to the bigger, stronger dudes defensively, and all of those things.
Are you seeing any progress from Baron J, or is it just going to be a year of development for him?
Yeah, I mean, like, I do think I would like to see more of him, especially in these games that are against teams that are getting blown out. Like, play him as much as possible. He did get some decent run against the Kings. you watch him and it's all there. Like all of the potential is there. He is also very much just a player that literally turned 19 years old like last week. And so when you watch him play, he is overly exuberant. He is trying to block every shot. He is kind of like just running around excited and crazy like he should. He's been in the United States for several months. This is all new to him. He does have a size that is unique and that could eventually become an asset, I think, even this year, to stand up to some of the bigger teams, even for 10, 12 minutes in a second unit, just to help protect the rim a little bit more. But it's not as simple as he is waiting and ready to step in right now. There's a lot that he is working through. And oh, by the way, if you put him in there, you do have to reduce Naz's minutes. And if you're trying to get him in a groove, that's hard to do. And Julius Randle has been an all-star level player. And so those are the two guys that you would take minutes away from or change, a little bit possibly. And Chris Finch doesn't really want to do that right now. So I get that as well.
I think next week we'll start talking about the conference, what the conference looks like, who the risers, fallers might be, who the real threats might be. For this week, let's get to our Shepherd Goods and Lamb Chops clothing line Twitter question of the week.
Yeah. I think I'm going to go with one from, I believe it was Tony Milltown, but several people asked about it on Twitter. It's come up, John Morant. And just, kind of what would a deal look like, or are the Timberwolves really interested? And, our Sam Amick at The Athletic did report, a few days ago that the Wolves are monitoring the situation. That's not a grand revelation. Of course, they're going to monitor it, because he is a megawatt talent at a position of need. But I expect in having conversations with, people around the organization, like I don't get the sense that anything is even close to like really substantive or imminent right now. I think the Grizzlies are trying to figure out what they want to do with John Morant and would be very reluctant to part with him as of right now. And also you look at sort of just the economics of a deal like this. It's really difficult for the Timberwolves to find a deal that matches, if the Grizzlies are going to part with the face of their franchise, they are going to want a lot for him. And probably a major component of a deal would be draft pick compensation to kind of reconfigure, go forward. The Wolves do not have much in the way of draft picks to be able to entice the Grizzlies with. And, you're not putting Jaden McDaniels in a deal now because he's just playing way too well for that. And so, would the Grizzlies be interested in Naz or Rudy or, some of these others? I don't know. And so it's really hard for me to come up with a deal that works. And I do believe that the Wolves, Chris Finch, Tim Connolly, they're going to be really patient with this for a while here and let it give it time to come together. So maybe by the turn of the new year, if we get into 2026 and the Wolves are struggling and that point guard situation is looking kind of glaring, maybe they revisit and maybe they look a little bit harder at it. But right now the DiVincenzo Edwards thing looks pretty good. And so I think that, people being excited about Ja probably need to pump the brakes a little bit.
Yeah. Also, I wonder, I just really like the makeup of this team. I think I like the way they play together. I like the fact they've had some time together now, and a lot of them have figured, DiVincenzo and Julius Randle look like completely different fits, if not different players than they did a year ago. I would kind of hate to see them blow it up for a guy who I don't trust.
Yeah, I think that, there's right now around the league, and I'm not talking Timberwolves specific, but around the league, people are looking at John Morant and wondering, is he regressing to a degree that really just changes who he is as a player? At his best, and we saw it, with the Timberwolves against the Grizzlies in the playoffs, he is an overpowering athlete at the rim, and he attacks like just relentlessly, and it's electric. But he's dealt with injuries the last couple of years. He's had, the off-court stuff that you wonder about with the personality and with all those things. And on top of those, you watch him play now, and he doesn't attack the rim as much as he used to. His shooting from three is not anywhere near where you would need it to be if he's not going to be in that attack mode. And maybe it's because he's pouting because he doesn't want to play in Memphis or something else. But like, there would be a little bit of a leap of faith if you made a deal that a change of scenery would be enough to bring back the old job. If it did, then you'd be in business. But if it didn't, and then you're dealing with the pressures of him coming in and then wondering how he fits into the team chemistry, all of those things, it's just a lot to consider. And so I think any team, including the Timberwolves, would proceed with caution as they try to evaluate if this is the right thing for them to do. And so if he came here, I think it would be good for him from an environmental standpoint, in terms of like, this is Ant's team. He's the leader. Like, Ja does not have to be like that guy who you go to and is like the question answer and is the guy who stands up for everyone, but so he could settle into a different role. But there still would be a lot of questions to answer, absolutely, about his dedication, his ability to focus and to not be a distraction and to stay on the court and all of those things. And so it's not just a simple, do whatever you can to get John Morant. Like last year I was like, do whatever you can to get Kevin Durant. I think it was different. Like Morant is a different conversation to have right now.
Yes, thanks to Shepherd Goods and Lamb Chops Clothing Line for the Twitter question. Thanks to John. You can also see and hear John on the Viking Update Show. Yes, John.
And just one more mention, Headflyer Brewing live show December 20th.
Oh, good.
Is what we're looking at. Still, like, we'll have a lot more details about guests, about things of that nature. But that's what we're tentatively planning for the next live show at Headflyers, December 20th. And you can still go into Headflyer every day for Vikings games, for Timberwolves games, great beer specials. Crunch Time will be on tap very soon at Headflyer. And right now they have Wolves watch parties, $5 pints of Wicked Jump Shot during the games, and a pizza truck and other things. But mark on your calendars, December 20th. We'll have more information as we get closer, but that's the next day of a live show.
Fantastic. Thank you to Headflyer. We appreciate it. So thanks, John. Appreciate it. We will talk to you next week. Thanks to everyone who watches. Thanks to everyone who listens. Thanks to everyone who patronizes our sponsors. We do appreciate it.